Now that we've talked about how you can actively engage with content and increase the effectiveness of your review, we should talk about another important component of studying MCAT science. How much do you need to know? First and foremost, MCAT pros love to say that the MCAT is a mile wide and an inch deep, meaning you have to know a large amount of material, but you don't need to know much depth about it. You don't usually need to know all the nitty-gritty details. This isn't the Grand Canyon of science tests. The AAMC content categories we mentioned before give you a good idea of what level of detail you need to know for information, but we designed all the Blueprint content to reflect this as well. It's more important that you know the big picture and scientific principles and processes rather than the granular details of the underlying mechanisms and inner workings of them. That being said, some content areas require test takers to know a lot more facts than others, and we have to be prepared to tackle those subjects. Let's say we're trying to study metabolism and the various biochemical reactions like glycolysis and the Krebs cycle. There is so much involved with each of them and every single one of them. On top of the reactants and products, there are enzymes, byproducts, and even positive and negative feedback. Just thinking about the diagrams that outline all this information stresses me out. The good thing, though, is that if we tackle this overwhelming amount of content one piece at a time in effective and manageable ways, it won't be long before you've mastered that material. Let's start by applying this to one specific step of glycolysis. An interesting quirk of human cognition is that we remember information much better when it's part of a narrative that we're invested in. Since for the MCAT we don't get to choose the scientific facts or statements that we study, we need to figure out how to turn a statement like, the committed step of glycolysis is when phosphofructokinase 1 catalyzes the conversion of fructose 1-phosphate to fructose 1,6-bisphosphate, consuming one equivalent of ATP, it is something we find engaging. I know, it's a tough ask. How on earth can we do that? Well, everything that you study for the MCAT is relevant to medicine in ways that you may not expect. Some content areas, like the digestive system, have more obvious connections, while other areas, like metabolism, become more relevant once you begin your studies in medical school. If you find the link or find the answer to the question, why should I care about this, then you will be more likely to understand the facts that you need to remember. In this example, we are learning about glycolysis, a process whose start and end points are really important to us because it fits into a larger story of how we as humans manage to extract energy from the environment to stay alive. Like most things in medicine, glycolysis is also something that we should know if we encounter a patient who has dysfunctions in the critical enzymes involved, like phosphofructokinase 1. If we view the factual biochemical steps of glycolysis or the facts of any other scientific concept you need to know for the MCAT as something that can help us become better physicians and improve our ability to improve future patients' lives, then we will be more invested in the material and therefore more likely to remember it.